Hello, my dear friends. Hello, my dear friends. I welcome you all for this lecture. So, today we will discuss about the chapter number 6 electromagnetic induction. Already you have studied in two videos, that is the introduction part of this chapter, and we have studied the Faraday's experiments of electromagnetic induction. So, today we will discuss in this class the Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction and the Lenz's law. So, in this previous video, we studied about the Faraday's experiments on the study of electromagnetic induction. There will be the three experiments. The first experiment is current induced by a magnet. Second experiment is current induced by a current. And third experiment, that is the current induced by changing current. So, three experiments we have studied. The result of that three experiment is only the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. The result of that three experiments says whenever there is a change in magnetic flux, when the change in magnetic flux is linked with the closed circuit, an EMF is induced in the circuit. When the change of magnetic flux is there, then only EMF is there in the circuit, then only the current is present in the circuit. So this exists as long as there is a change in magnetic flux exists. Okay, so the magnetic flux is linked only when EMF is induced, and if the EMF exists as long as there is a change in magnetic flux exists, and this phenomenon is only known as the electromagnetic induction. So this is what the Faraday's result of experiments. Okay, so that is the results of that experiments of Faraday and Henry says the only change in magnetic flux is linked with the coil when the EMF is induced in the circuit, and this exists as long as there is a current in the circuit, and this phenomenon is known as what? Electromagnetic induction. So today we'll see the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. So see, suppose we'll take here the one magnet, okay, and that is having the N and S pole, and after that the one coil that is connected with the galvanometer G. Whenever this N pole of the magnet is coming closer to the this coil, okay, so whenever it comes closer to the this coil, that time what happens? This N pole coming closer means the magnetic field lines are present as here explained, and here whatever the represented these lines, these are known as magnetic field lines, and whenever N pole coming closer to the this coil, the this coil end behave like a N pole and it opposes the motion of the magnet. After that, here if this end of the coil is behave like a N pole, this end of the coil behave like a S pole. So it opposes the motion of the magnet. Coil always opposes the motion of the magnet. Suppose the N pole moving away from the coil, then it behave like a S pole and it opposes the motion of the magnet. So here if the magnet is at constant state, then the coil is moving closer to the this bar magnet. That time also the if the N pole is here, this end behave like a N pole and opposes the motion of the this coil. And after that, if the bar magnet is at constant state and coil is moving away from the N pole, that time also the this end behave like a S pole and it opposes the motion. So always coil opposes the motion of the magnet and even magnet also opposes the motion of the coil. Then here, whenever the anyone, either magnet or either coil, is moving, that time only the change in magnetic flux is linked with that coil. So it means EMF is induced in the coil. It means galvanometer shows some deflection. It means the current is present in the coil. So this phenomenon is known as what? Electromagnetic induction. Okay. So here by the current, okay. So here we will produce the current by changing the or varying magnetic field. We are producing the current by changing or varying magnetic field. So the result of this experiment only the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Here the what are the observations of that Faraday's experiment? Okay, so the Faraday's experiment, the whatever the three experiments are there that you studied already in electromagnetic induction part 2. If you don't remember, just go through the link, okay, and please see that the electromagnetic induction part 2, okay, there I explained three experiments, okay. Then the observation of that Faraday's experiments is what? The relative motion between the coil and the magnet, okay. The motion, the relative motion between the coil and magnet is there, then only the current is present in the coil. Then only galvanometer shows some deflection. So the observation, you should see the motion. If both are constant state, coil and magnet, so the galvanometer shows zero deflection. There will be no current in the coil. There will be the galvanometer deflection will be zero. It means what? There will be no EMF induced in the coil. So it means the magnetic flux linked with the coil, if changes, then only the EMF is induced in the coil. So it means the relative motion between the coil and magnet is necessary. Second one, the induced polarities of magnetism in the coil. Okay, the polarity. Okay, so here whenever the N pole coming closer, it behave like a coil, behave like a N pole, it opposes. Okay, so it means what? The polarity of the magnetism in the coil is important. So in here the positive negative, okay, in which direction the current is moving, that also important to observe in this Faraday's experiment. After that, the direction of current through the galvanometer and hence direction in the galvanometer. Okay, and the deflection in the galvanometer is whenever the suppose the coil is constant state, the N pole coming closer, so the whatever the motion is present, so galvanometer shows one side deflection, okay, and that time the current is flowing in one direction. Suppose the magnet is moving away from the coil, that time the galvanometer shows opposite side deflection. It means opposite side direction the current is flowing in the coil. So the deflection in the galvanometer is important and direction of the current is also important in that. And the fourth point, that the induced current or EMF is available only as long as there is a relative motion between the coil and magnet. Okay, so the EMF is induced or current is present in the coil only when the either coil is at motion state, either the magnet is at motion state, or both are at having relative motion. Then only the current is present in the coil. If both are constant state, the galvanometer shows zero deflection. It means no current in the coil. It means no EMF present in the coil. So the observations of Faraday's experiments is also important. So note the first one, the coil can be moved by fixing the magnet. Okay, so first time you should take coil as that you should move and fix the magnet. Suppose the second point is both the coil and magnet can be moved towards each other or away from each other. There must be a relative velocity between them. Okay, so both are moving when towards each other or away from each other. There must be a relative velocity between them. And the magnetic flux linked with the coil changes relative to the positions of the coil and the magnet. Okay, the flux with the coil, okay, whatever the flux with the coil, it changes the relative to the positions of the coil and the magnet. Okay, for the position of the coil and magnet, the flux will be changes. And next one, the current and hence the deflection is large if the relative velocity between the coil and the magnet, hence the rate of change of flux across the coil is more. Okay, so the deflection is large if the relative velocity between the coil and the magnet, hence the rate of change of flux across the coil is more. Okay, so the deflection is large whenever motion is large. The deflection is smaller whenever the motion between the coil and magnet is smaller, or the magnet will be having the rate of change of flux across the coil, okay, because of the motion of it. Okay, so these are the some points that to be observed in Faraday's experiment. So by using these all points, okay, we will see the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. So the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, this is the result of the all observation of three experiments. Okay, and the first law says whenever there is a change in magnetic flux linked with the coil or circuit, an EMF and hence a current is induced in the circuit. However, it lasts only so long as the magnetic flux is changing. Okay, so see, whenever the magnitude of the EMF induced in the circuit, okay, and it will be directly proportional to the rate of change of magnetic flux. Okay, these are the two laws of Faraday's experiment. Okay, so we'll see. First law, whenever there is a change in magnetic flux. When the change in magnetic flux is there, whenever either coil is at motion state, either the magnet is at motion state, or both are having relative motion between each other, then only the change in magnetic flux is present. If change in magnetic flux is present, then the EMF is present in the coil and hence the current is induced in the coil. Okay, if EMF is present, means suppose the coil is at motion state or the magnet is at motion state or both are having relative motion, that time only the galvanometer shows some deflection. It means current is present in the coil. It means EMF is there in the coil. However, it lasts only so long as the magnetic flux is changing. Means if anything is at motion state, okay, either coil or magnet or both, then only the change in magnetic flux is present, then only the current is present, then only EMF is induced in the coil. So this is known as the experiment Faraday's law of first law of electromagnetic induction. Okay, so whenever there is a change in magnetic flux linked with the coil, EMF is induced. It means current is induced in the circuit. However, it lasts only so long as the change in magnetic flux is present in this. So, if change in magnetic flux is present, then only current is present, then only EMF is present in the coil. So, this is the first law of electromagnetic induction. Then second law of Faraday's second law says the magnitude of the induced EMF is directly proportional to rate of change of magnetic flux linked with the circuit. So it means what? Suppose the E is what? The EMF induced in the circuit. Suppose E is EMF induced in the circuit. So phi is, what is phi? It is a magnetic flux. Okay. So the d phi by dt means it is the rate of change of magnetic flux. So EMF of the induced coil is directly proportional to the rate of change of magnetic flux. Okay, the EMF is induced in the coil. Okay, that magnitude of the EMF induced in the coil is directly proportional to what? The rate of change of magnetic flux linked with the coil. So here that is E is directly proportional to d phi by dt, and if we want to take the proportionality sign to equal sign, we should take one constant. Suppose k is a constant, so E is equal to k into d phi by dt. Okay, so if the constant k is units are chosen as a k is equal to 1, then we will say E is equal to d phi by dt when k is equal to 1. Then d phi means it is a rate of change of, or I will say that E is equal to phi 2 minus phi 1, where phi 2 is what? It is a second flux. Okay, so second magnetic flux minus initial magnetic flux divided by T. Okay, so this is a second law of electromagnetic induction. So I repeat Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. First law says whenever there is a change in magnetic flux linked with the circuit, an EMF induced in the circuit, hence the current is present in the circuit. However, it lasts only so long as there will be the magnetic flux is changing. And the second law says the magnitude of induced EMF is directly proportional to the rate of change of magnetic flux linked with the circuit. So this is the Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. So next, the Lenz law. Here the whenever the we will take E is equal to d phi by dt. Okay, so in previous E is equal to, okay, d phi by dt. Here we will get the negative sign. Actually, whenever we will take E is equal to d phi by dt, we will get the negative sign there. And the Faraday not explained how that E is equal to minus d phi by dt. Actually, whenever we verify the EMF, so the EMF is equal to, we will get not d phi by dt, this equation, but we will get the here E is equal to minus d phi by dt. And why that negative sign comes, the Faraday not explained. Okay, so after that the Lenz's law says the why that negative sign comes. Okay, that only the Lenz's law. So see the Lenz's law. Here it is the, suppose the coil 1, this is the first coil, this is the second coil, and this is a magnet. Okay, bar magnet, here it is having the N pole, it is the S pole. So suppose the N pole is coming closer to the coil 1, then this end behave like a N pole. This end behave like a N pole, and this end behave like a S pole. And if the N poles are there, obviously the repulsive force between these two will be present. So the whatever the N pole is coming closer to the coil, this coil always opposes the motion of this magnet, and that time the anti-clockwise direction current is moving in the circuit. After that, if N pole coming closer to this coil 1 means S pole is moving away from the coil 2. S pole is moving away from the coil 2. Then this end behave like a N pole, and we know that S and N, okay, both are the different poles. Then these two are having attractive force. So because of that reason, so it opposes the motion of the magnet. So here, if it bar magnet wants to come closer to this coil 1, it opposes the motion, and the S pole moving away from this coil, it behave like a N pole and it attracts. Means it is also opposes the motion of it. And that time the clockwise direction current is moving in the circuit. Okay, that time the clockwise direction current is moving in the circuit. Next, suppose the S pole, okay, is coming closer to the coil 1. If S pole is coming closer to the coil 1, that time this end behave like a S pole, and that time the clockwise direction current is moving in the circuit, and we know that yes, repulsive force is there. Okay, so because of the repulsive force, it opposes the motion of the magnet. And after that, N and S pole. After that, here N pole is moving away from the coil 2. That time it behave like a S pole, and that time the anti-clockwise direction the current is moving in the coil, and it opposes the motion of the magnet. So here see one thing very important, that is what, the if it wants to come closer, it behave like a same pole and it opposes the motion. If it wants to go the away from it, it behave like a opposite pole and it attracts. So the whatever the coil is present, that always opposes the motion of the magnet. Okay, so if it wants to come closer, it behave like a same pole and it opposes the repulsive force is present, so it opposes the motion. If it wants to go away from the coil, it behave like a opposite pole and it attracts. So the coil always opposes the motion of the magnet, bar magnet. So then the direction of the induced EMF or induced current is such that it opposes the change that is producing in it. So see here, the polarity of induced EMF is such that it tends to produce current which opposes the change in magnetic flux that produced in it. Actually, the direction of the induced EMF, whatever it is there, or induced current is there, that is such that it opposes the change of the producing in it. So whatever the changes happens in that, it always opposes. When a N pole of a bar magnet is moving towards the coil, the EMF is induced in the coil. So this induced current is anti-clockwise direction and through the coil. So the generates as a N pole. The coil generates as a N pole and it opposes the movement of the magnet. This is the one stage. When the N pole is moving away from the coil, then the EMF is again induced in the coil and the induces the current is clockwise direction through the coil. So as the generates S pole, coil generates like a S pole and it opposes the moment of the magnet. Okay, so like this, whatever the motion will be there, okay, motion of the bar magnet is there, coil always opposes. So because of that reason, the direction of induced EMF or induced current is such that it opposes the change that is produced in it. So that is, if the current is induced due to the motion of the magnet, then the induced current in the coil sets itself to stop the motion of the magnet. Okay, so why that behave like it? Because it sets itself to stop the motion of the magnet. If the current is induced due to the change in current in the primary coil, then induced current is such that it tends to stop the change. Okay, so because of that reason, it opposes always motion of the magnet. Then this is known as Lenz law. So the Lenz law is what? The direction of induced EMF or induced current is such that it opposes the change that is produced in it. And after that, the Lenz law is having the law of conservation of energy. Okay, so it is the consequence of the law of conservation of energy. So how it is, we'll see. So see here, whenever the coil is connected with the galvanometer, when the magnet is pushed towards the coil or pulled away from the coil, then the galvanometer shows some deflection momentarily and this induces electrical energy is generating in it. Current is produced means electrical energy is there in it. The energy is produced at the expense of mechanical energy according to the law of conservation of energy. So when the N pole is of the magnet is pushed towards the coil, N pole of the magnet coming towards the coil, then the current induced in the coil produces like a N pole and it opposes the motion of the magnet. If this induced current develops like a south pole, then the magnet would be attracted towards the coil, then it would be gain the kinetic energy. It will gain kinetic energy at the expense of nothing. So this is against the law of conservation of energy. If N pole is coming closer to the coil, okay, it behave like a coil behave like a N pole. Suppose it behave like a S pole, that time what happens? The kinetic energy will be gains. Okay, kinetic energy gains then at the expense of nothing only, then this is the against of conservation of energy. Because we know the conservation of energy, there will be no loss of any energy, okay, gain of energy, but it converts one form to another form. So see, because of that reason, okay, it is the whenever N pole is coming towards the coil, then the induced current must be behave like a N pole only. Hence, the law Lenz's law is the consequence of
conservation of energy. Okay, so here see, according to Lentz's law, the induced EMF opposes the change that produces in it. It is the opposition against which we perform mechanical work in causing the change in magnetic flux. Therefore, the mechanical energy is conserved into the electrical energy. Thus, the Lentz's law is according with the law of conservation of energy. If, however, the reverse would be happen, okay, reverse means that is the induced EMF does not opposes or adds the change, that time the little change in magnetic flux would be produces as the induced current which would be help the change of magnetic flux and further thereby producing more current, and increased EMF would be causes further change of flux if would further increases the current and so on. This would create the energy out of nothing, which would be violate the law of conservation of energy. Okay, so if the N pole of the magnet is coming closer to the coil, it behaves like a N pole and always opposes the motion of the magnet. Suppose it is consider the coil behave like a S pole. That time what happens? The some loss of kinetic energy will be there or gain of kinetic energy will be there, and according to law of conservation of energy, there will be no loss of energy, no gain of energy, only transfer of one form to another form. Energy will be transferred one form to another form. So because of that reason, okay, it behave like a only N pole. When N pole coming closer to the coil, coil behave like a N pole and it always opposes the motion of the magnet. So here it means there will be the law of conservation of energy is applicable for this. So because of that reason, the here the EMF, okay, the EMF E is equal to minus d phi by dt, where the d phi by dt is what? It is the rate of change of magnetic flux, okay, and the negative sign comes, okay. Therefore, the E is equal to minus d phi by dt. Thank you.